Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the VectorVest YouTube live presentation, Trending Thursdays. My name is Glenn Tompkins. I'm a senior instructor here at VectorVest. Always love having you guys here. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you're brand new, welcome. If you're one of my regulars, my VV Nation folks, hey, if you can hear me, type VV Nation in the room. Let's go see if we can flood the screen with VV Nation. Let's go let all of the people who are brand new know what you're all about. Stand up, let them know who you are. Once again, my name is Glenn Tompkins, and this is our weekly presentation for Trending Thursdays. Just to let you know, this is also podcastable. Is that a good word, Joey? Podcastable. So if you're not here to watch it live, if you can, after the presentation, you can go to any podcast outlet, look for Trending Thursday. Don't look for VectorVest. Look for Trending Thursday, and wherever you are about in all of that in the world, you can now hear us by way of podcast. I'm talking about that in podcast. My producer here is Joey. He's an integral part of what we do here. He's the guy behind the scenes. He's like, what is he? He's like the wizard. He's behind a big screen, but he's the guy that does all of the stuff in the background. His name is Joey. Say hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do this without him. All right, I wouldn't be able to do this without him. And man, just look at the VV Nations popping up in the room. So again, thank you, Podcastable, another Glennism. Yes, Paul, that now does become a new Glennism. Podcastable. And Robert, this is recorded. Once this is completed, my producer Joey then releases portions of the video throughout the week. But as soon as this is done, the whole video will be available to you right here on YouTube. And throughout the week, we will release different parts of the video just as content to be continually coming out. So with that, Joey's going to take away my chat, because as I read the chat, it makes it tough for me to stay on course, because I love answering questions. Just also to let you know, if you look down below the video, we have a VectorVest store. All right, we have some mugs in there. We've got t-shirts in there. I think we've got coronavirus masks. We got some masks in there as well. So the store is a brand new novelty, but it will grow. All right, but if you want a mug, if you haven't won one yet, you can look down below the video and purchase your very own VectorVest mug. Does it have VV Nation on it? We should put that, shouldn't we? Yeah. I'm thinking that we are going to work on getting VV Nation. I know we have a t-shirt that says VectorVest VV Nation. Walk around proudly. Let people come up and ask you, what's this VV Nation? And let them know that VectorVest is a software that can help to change their lives and make money in the stock market. If you are new, by all means, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. If you like the content, show some love to the channel, subscribe. We got to how many subscribers now, Joey? Over 18,000 subscribers to the channel. Man, VV Nation is growing by leaps and bounds, and I want to salute you guys by saying thank you very much for supporting the channel and helping the channel grow. Another thing, if you have friends that may be interested in the market, grab this link that we're doing right now live. Folks, go out, share this link on your social media, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Share this link that we're doing right now on your social media, and you never know who may click on it and could change their lives as well, especially if they're very interested about learning about the stock market. You don't know who's in your sphere who is really interested in the market. Folks, by all means, please share the link for this live video right now. You never know. Some of them may pop in and may thank you later. All right, may thank you later. All right, so I wanted to get a lot of those things out of the way. Don't forget to comment as well. And let's see if we can get, how many likes you want to try to see today, Joey?
250.
250. Let's see if we can get up to 250 likes today. All right. And, you know, if you don't like the content, that's fine. Will I appeal to everybody? The answer to that is no. And I know that. But if you're new, we're going to have a lot of fun, but we're also going to help you to make better informed decisions on the stocks that you could possibly be considering, stocks that are making the news. That's what we do here on Trending Thursday. We look at what's going on in the market. We look at what stocks are making the news. We use the power of the VectorVest software to help us to make better decisions. If you are not a VectorVest subscriber, Joey's going to put a link in the chat for you. You can take a trial to the VectorVest software for 99 cents for 30 days. Now, for those of you who are not subscribers but like to use your cell phones, we have a mobile app. There's a mobile app that we can put, and whether you want the full-blown software or not, if you are that much on the go and you're really interested in stocks, we have a mobile app. Do you have a link for that? You may or may not. And if not, if Jennifer is here, if she may be in the background. All right, so we have a link for that as well. If you don't want to take the full-blown software and you just want the app, we got a link for you. You can subscribe to just the app only. And I'm putting that out there for the brand new people who may be tentative about saying, well, you know, do I need a new software to help me? Listen, the app is a very powerful tool to help you build a watch list of your stocks, manage your stocks, and top, no matter where you are. If you're out at the dentist and you're drilling in your teeth and you go, oh, you can look at your stocks. Or if you're at the supermarket and you're waiting in a long line because everybody wants to buy bread and eggs and milk, you can be standing online looking at your phone and go, wow, I'm making a lot of money. Or hell, I'm losing some money. Doesn't matter. Either way, on your phone, we have a mobile app for both iOS and now for Android. Okay? Now, I take all of that stuff. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of what we'll cover here today. As a VectorVest subscriber or as an investor in the market, what's the most important thing you need to know? You need to know what's going on in the market. You need to know market's direction, because market's direction is so important in investing in stocks. The market's overall direction affects about 80% of the stocks in the market. You can be in what you think is the best stock in the world, but if the market's direction is not with you, you can stand to lose a lot of money. So that's why we always start off these presentations with market timing to know what's going on and what things move the markets in case you don't know. A lot of people can say, yeah, the market's bullish or the market's bearish, back and forth. But as a well-informed investor, there's three things that move markets globally. That's earnings, interest, and inflation. So let's start talking about what's going on in the market. We're going to open up the home page of the VectorVest software. And from the home page, as you open it up, you're going to be introduced to a lot of great information before you even dive into the power of the VectorVest software. So on the home page, it's laid out like a newspaper so that market timing is always the headline story. Our color guard today, and I won't spend a lot of time on our color guard here, but I'm just going to give you an overview. The color guard is our daily traffic light into the market, just like a red light, a yellow light, and a green light. Right now, VectorVest does not advocate buying stocks at this time. We give you guidance every single day on what you should or should not be doing in the market. We have a color guard. Now, this is a 6-day snapshot of 3 of our market timing indicators in the market. The price is the price movement of our VectorVest composite. The VectorVest composite tracks the move of over 8,300 stocks in one ticker symbol known as the VVC. We track its price on both the week-over-week and day-over-day basis, so we can truly see what's going on in the market. The color guard also tracks the RT, or relative timing of the market. Relative timing lets us know if the market's in an uptrend or not. RT is cast on a scale between 0 and 2. Above 1, the market's in an uptrend, like it is right now. Below 1, the market's in a downtrend. But notice, over the last 6 trading days, RT has moved from 1.07 to 1.01, ideally letting you know that the market is losing steam or momentum. The last indicator in the color guard is the BSR, or buy to sell ratio. Every stock in our database gets a buy, sell, or hold recommendation every single day. we look at the direct relationship of buy recommendations in the software divided by sells. We can clearly see there's more buys in the system than sells, so the market is still showing signs of strength. But notice how that buy to sell ratio has been degrading over the last 6 trading days. Yes, we still have more buy recommendations, but now less and less stocks are getting buy recommendations. These are all thumbprints of being able to be cautious in the market. Well, how about the color guard is showing a lot of yellow? If I'm teaching you to learn to use the color guard like a traffic light, well, just look at that. More yellow than anything, this is a time to be cautious in the market. And I tell you that because people get blindsided when the market turns. As a VectorVest subscriber, you will never be blindsided by market's action ever. All right, so that's what's going on the home page of the VectorVest software. We can look at our quick list of all of the major indices real time today. We have a mixed market. All of the major indices are up. The Dow just slightly turned positive. Our VectorVest composite, though, which tracks the movement of over 8,300 stocks, is slightly down today, down about 6 cents to equate out to about a 0.1% move to the downside. Now, many of you will say, well, wait a minute, how is the Dow up, the NASDAQ up, the S&P up, but your VectorVest composite is down? Well, remember, our VectorVest composite tracks the movement of 8,300 stocks. The Dow tracks the movement of 30 stocks. NASDAQ tracks the movement of about 4,300 stocks, but is very tech heavy. The S&P 5 and 100 track 5 and 100 stocks respectively. That is the reason why the VectorVest composite can be down, why all of the other major indices are up today. This gives you a better representation of the broad market movement, all right? And that's what makes us different from everybody else out there in regards to having to be able to have the ability to time the market. All right, so the homepage is telling us, slow down, be careful. I know the market's up today nominally, but overall, the VectorVest software is telling you to tighten your stops and to be cautious in the market. Let's find out why. Let's start going out to our stories for today. And the first story we'll get into is the next steps on the coronavirus stimulus package divide both parties. Now, this is what we call the market overview. From the market overview, we're going to look at what's going on in the government to drive the market higher or lower, or the economy. And there are two different things. But with the onset of the coronavirus pandemic, the economy and the market have both been affected adversely together. Normally, they are two separate entities, and they still are. But the effect on the economy, the effect on the market have been one and the same with the pandemic. So next steps on coronavirus stimulus package divide both parties. Both parties are trying to come to an agreement to help America. The pandemic has put a lot of people out of work. A lot of people are still at home. If you are one of those people, unfortunately, still at home, the $600 extra a week from unemployment ran out. They're still trying to get that back up and running in some form, fashion, or semblance of something normal, if you want to use that word in the pandemic time. So the next steps they have here, lawmakers from both parties are growing increasingly worried, and that's key. Think about it. If the lawmakers are growing worried, what about the people of America? All right, by the stalemate over the coronavirus aid package, but internal divisions on each side are complicating their efforts to propose new measures. So, I don't talk politics or religion in this room except for the idea of knowing that I am a Christian. Other than that, we won't talk about any more politics or religion in this room. But from the standpoint of people in America trying to get through a pandemic, they need help. Both parties need to come together and do something, all right? Because the real people of America are being affected. Let's back this up a little bit. Several states commit to extra jobless benefit of $300 a week offered by Trump. So you know something? Several states are at least trying to help their states. Give them a hand for that, all right? They're trying to put something in place to help the American people the best way that they can. All right, Labor departments estimate states will take 3 weeks on average to deliver payments supplied by federal governments. Well, I mean, again, I am fortunate that I'm not sitting in the seat of the people who are unemployed, but it's a real issue. And, the government is trying to do what they can, but Congress and all of that stuff's got to come together and do something to make this right. All right. And then the Fed, Mnuchin, says stimulus talks remain stalled. All right. So everything dealing with what's affecting the market right now stems around what's being done for America. All right. What's being done for the people who are out of work? Because if they're out of work and they don't have any money, they can't spur the economy. If they don't have the money, they can't put it back into the economy. And what happens, then the economy gets hit. Not only that, if I don't have the disposable income to invest in the stock market gets hit. Why? Because what am I going to start to do? I'm going to start taking my money out of the market because I need it. Think about it. As more and more people are not able to have that disposable income, it's going to pull it out of the market. So this is one of those times during the pandemic where the market and the economy are actually conjoined because of the pandemic, even though they still are two separate entities. It makes for a dichotomy of sorts. Just keep that in mind. Treasury Secretary suggests Pelosi may be open to resuming talks when White House convenes to take up Postal Service bill. I got an issue with Congress going on hiatus during a time like this. That's just my opinion. That's strictly just my opinion. When the American people are hurting with a pandemic that's got no fault of theirs, all of the things that the government should be doing to try to help the people needs to be done. Now, again, I ain't talking politics. I'm just talking reality. This is real. This is real. All right, so these are my stories about what's going on in the market. One other story in the economy, story came out today, this morning. Jobless claims climb back above 1 million as recovery in the U.S. labor market slows. All of this ties in to the economy. All of this economy is going to affect the market, which, all the way down the line, it all goes back to people need money, somehow, some form of fashion. All right, whether you're a Republican, whether you're a Democrat, don't matter. People are not working. It don't matter what political party you're in. Not at all. Doesn't matter if you're white or black. Doesn't matter if you're man or woman. Doesn't matter about any of that stuff. Got to come together and do something to help the people who are experiencing a pandemic that ain't got nothing to do with them. All right, so these are the things that are affecting the market. So with all of that being said, and again, if for anybody who felt like I was getting too political, get over yourself. All I'm talking about is what's real. What's real. And I believe that everybody in this room can relate to what's real. All right, so let's go and get over yourself. Was not meant to be a bad thing. It was just meant to tell you to get over yourself. All right, that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Let's go and look at our watch list for today. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Is this the one I wanted? Yep. Let's go to our viewers tab. And every week, with all of the stocks that we look at for the market, we go to our watch list viewer. We've created a watch list. Every week we create a watch list. Let's go to YouTube Trending Thursday. Let's go down to today's watch list, which is 8/20/20. Looks like how many stocks we have in here. Oh, let's go see. We got about 14 stocks in here. The two stocks that I use for looking at the market, if you are a VectorVest subscriber, we look at that indicator, the VVC. But if you're new and you're not a VectorVest subscriber, what do you use to look at what's going on in the market? Most likely the spiders, the S&P 500. So I'm going to highlight these two stocks. Let's take a look at their graphs. Now that they're highlighted, right-click, view the stock graph. Here they are. I like to look at a 3-month graph because what's the biggest mover of the market or an individual stock is always earnings. How often does earnings happen? Every quarter. I like to look at a 1-quarter graph on any stock that I look at. Well, here's that VectorVest composite that tracks over 8,300 stocks. What's it doing? Well, it hit a high back here a couple of days ago. It's still moving down. RT, which looks at the short-term price trend of the market. I want to show you something, the power of the software for those of you who are not subscribers. I'm going to draw a freehand line connecting lows here. All right, connecting the actual lows on the VectorVest composite. Let's go make that a little darker for you so you can see it. For those of you who may be on podcast, I'm drawing a line from about towards the latter part of June, connecting the lows on the VectorVest composite. Over that same time period, I'm going to connect on my graph the VectorVest RT, the short-term price trend of the market. What do you see here? About the same time period. All right, let's make that a little darker. Again, and for the people who will be on podcast, I'm trying to give you a visual while you're driving around, if you're driving around. All right, so the VectorVest composite moving higher, but the relative timing or short-term price trend of the market moving lower over pretty much the same time period. That is called a bearish divergence. And over this time period, folks, our subscribers have been warned to tighten stops, protect profits, move cautiously. Without being a VectorVest subscriber, you're at the whims of your own intuition of, well, I think it's going to do this or I think it's going to do that. VectorVest puts in play guidance that guides our subscribers. So yeah, even though the market's going up, we didn't tell our subscribers to sell. We said take advantage of the up days, but do it cautiously because the market's momentum was moving down. We have another indicator called the MTI. This is on the VectorVest composite. Can't do it on this. I got to put it on the market timing graph. We have an indicator called the market timing indicator. It gives the levels of when the market's looking for a top or a bottom. It's been toppy for almost the last 3 months. So again, the guidance has been cautious. The guidance has never once been said, go to sell your stocks and panic. This thing's moving the market. The Fed having interest rates as low as they are trying to buoy the market the best way that it can. The stimulus trying to buoy the market as best as it can. Buoy the economy, which in effect will buoy the market. So as a subscriber, we give you this information. As a non-subscriber, let's go look at the S&P 500. I can put the RT on the S&P 500 as well. Look at the upward move from looking at support line connecting the lows on the S&P 500 over the same time period. I've got a leveling out of RT, which is saying, yes, the market's moving up. The momentum of the market wasn't moving up nearly as much. That's a flag as well. So you can only get RT in the VectorVest software. All right, you can only get it in the VectorVest software. But again, it's ideally suited to help you to keep on top of what's going on in the market. So we now know that this is a time to be cautious in the market. Not telling you to sell anything and not telling you to go out and back up the truck and buy anything. All I'm saying is on the up days, it's okay to buy stocks. If you're a longer-term investor and you're not into this trading thing, manage your stocks with tighter stops. What does that mean? Well, if I'm in a trade and I'm using a 10% trail stop, why not tighten it to a 7% trail stop? That allows you the opportunity to take your profits faster and get out of your losers faster so you won't get blindsided. If you're using something like a 30% gain, 10% loss, drop it down to a 20% gain or a 7 or 5% loss. Take your profits faster, but get out of your losers faster. Folks, that's smart investing. All right, with that, Joey, before we do anything else, do I have any questions as I drink my Cafe Bustelo, the coffee of the YouTube channel? Any questions, Joey?
Just some comments, and somebody said Glenn 2020.
Glenn 2020, yeah. I got too many skeletons in my closet. Oh, heck no. I am not running. You'd be like, so, Mr. Tompkins, you remember back in 1980-something you did this? I'd be like, I plead the fifth, baby. Just like that. So I ain't playing that. I got too many skeletons in my closet to do that. Any comments bad? Anybody hate what I said?
No.
Okay.
Everybody agreed with you on what you said. He said he's realistic. That's real. Good job. He's the reality. Love this guy. He's real. Keep it real, Glenn. Speak to the choir.
Excellent.
And then Leo said, "When will you be doing a course?" He just did his Trade Like a Pro course.
Oh, those courses, a lot of those courses, not my forte. I do a lot of presentations, but I'm not involved with a lot of the individual courses that we do. Why? Because a lot of my time is used for YouTube. I also do a Training Tuesday webcast that shows people how to use all the tabs of the software. I actually do part of doing our trading room, the Derby, along with the Derby weekly training. I'm in a lot of different things, but one of the things that I'm not all that into are the paid courses. Just I'm being utilized elsewhere. So yeah, you can still see me a lot on VectorVest, but just not in the paid courses. Any other questions? Any comments?
Are you going to sing today?
Am I going to sing? Oh, it's got to hit me. I'm not going to sing. I can't sing on cue, but if it hits me, it does. All right.
Where does the Trending Thursday stock list show up in the VV app?
All right. So the question is, where did the Trending Thursday stocks show up in the VV app? I don't think that they're automatically put there. And I don't know if that's something that we'll do. Do you think that we'll do that?
You can see the stocks under the video.
Under what? Oh, you can see our stocks?
Under this video.
Oh, under this video. That's right. For every story that I'm going to talk about today, at the end of it, you'll see all of the stocks that I'm going to talk about today. So it is in there. Is that what you think they're asking?
I think so.
Okay.
Unless you're talking about on the phone app, but it's not there either. So.
All right. I'm going to keep moving. I know I spent a lot of time on market overview, but I think it was important to do it, especially for those who are not subscribers, to really truly understand where we stand in the market right now. And the biggest takeaway is be careful in the market. The market's looking toppy. The market's looking tired. If you are still investing in stocks, tighten your stops. If you decide to buy new stocks, don't do it but one or two stocks at a time. All right, and you probably don't want to be fully invested with all of your assets. I think that those are the most important takeaways to use right now. All right, I'm going to go to my next story. This is huge. This is about gold. I don't know how many of you saw this story, but the story is, did Warren Buffett just bet against the U.S. economy? His latest investment raises some questions. So, Warren Buffett, he's a great long-term investor in the market, right? He's all about value investing, holding stocks that over the time, he knows that they are value-based investments. So he's been behind the market. He's been like, the banks are a good way to go to back up the market. Let's go look at Chase. Let's go look at JP Morgan. Let's go look at Wells Fargo. And he was holding those stocks. All right. Earlier this week, though, Warren Buffett has long been critical of gold as an investment, saying that it has no utility. All right. Remember, he's a value-based investor. And that magical metal, he also put it, magical metal is no match for American metal. So he was gung-ho about America. Woo, we got to go America. Yay! He's like, yeah, go America. And then all of a sudden, it came to a screeching halt. And he knocked it out the park. Berkshire Hathaway boss just acquired nearly 21 million shares of Barrick Gold. What? That no match for the magical metal? He just went and has got no utility? Worth about $563 million, while selling his shares of Wells, JP Morgan, all at the same. He got rid of them and went into gold. That was a huge story. The man that's behind the value investing went over and said, hey, I'm going to go get some gold. The world stopped. All right? So then I got my next story. Barrick Gold is what he bought, which was the ticker symbol GOD. Barrick Gold stock soars more than 10%, and that was on Monday after Warren Buffett's Berkshire reveals its stake. Barrick Gold popped 10.5% on Monday after legendary investor Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway, revealed a stake in the gold miner stock. It added $562 million to the position in Barrick Gold in the second quarter, while the position is small for Berkshire. Good Gordon Gin, you're going to tell me, good googly muggly, it took a long time, that $562 million is a small stake for Berkshire. Man, I need to have some of that small steak. I'd rather have me a ribeye steak, but that's a small steak, which owns more than $89 billion in Apple. Good Gordon Gin. That is a lot of money in Apple. $89 billion worth of Apple. Whew. The conglomerate is the 11th largest shareholder of the gold mining company, according to FactSet. He just became a tenth of the shares held in Barrick Gold. So let's talk about that. So that's my gold story. Berkshire Hathaway did it. So let's go take a look at gold. There's Barrick Gold. It's up 1.98% today. I'm going to also look at something else that we use for gold, and that's the dollar. I'll come to that in a second. Did I put that in here? Oh, I didn't, but I'm going to do it now. UUP, going to track the dollar, but I want to look at gold, and let's analyze gold. Let's analyze Barrick Gold. And did I put the Huey in here? I did not. Nope. So let's just go look at gold first, all right? $29 is what Barrick Gold is trading at. Let's analyze it. It's at a value of $32.18. For those of you who are new or are not VectorVest subscribers, we assign an intrinsic value on every stock in our database every single day. That intrinsic value is derived from things like earnings per share, earnings growth percentage on those stocks, and we look at the three major movers of the market: earnings, interest, and inflation. Those are the three things that move markets globally, okay? So we use that information along with what's going on with their earnings. Our earnings are forecasted 12 months out, and we look at the growth of their earnings, which in this case is 32%, to assign how valuable that stock is. So that is the intrinsic value of GOD or Barrick Gold, and it is not a target price. It's what we feel the stock is worth. And our mantra is to have you in safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in a rising market. So currently the stock's price is trading at 29, the value is at 32. When the stock's price and value are within 10% of each other, we call the stock fairly valued. Now let's get into the VectorVest indicators that make you a better informed investor. RV, RS, RT, VST, CI. These are our core proprietary indicators, all cast on a scale between 0 and 2. We make it simple. If any of those indicators are above the value of 1, the indicator is favorable. If the indicator is below the value of 1, the indicator is unfavorable. So for those people who are looking or listening by way of podcast, let me break this down for you. RV, which looks at the stock's long-term price appreciation potential, its upside potential as compared to an alternative investment in a AAA corporate bond. You buy a bond, it matures. You get all of your money back with a small interest. It is a safer investment. It's not a gangbuster trade, but it is a safer investment. Barrick Gold has got a relative value at 1.48, above the value of 1, so it's favorable. At that value of 1.48, we're saying that Barrick Gold should outperform that safe investment in a AAA corporate bond by 48% over the next 1 to 3 years. So long term, do you mind holding Barrick Gold? Absolutely. From a value play, absolutely you should take it. All right? Relative safety is an indicator of risk. Relative safety looks at the consistency and predictability of a company's financial performance. Does this company meet or exceed its earnings expectations quarter over quarter and year over year? Above the value of 1, the stock's got a higher probability of meeting or beating earnings. Well, it's at 1.01. Well, it's favorable. It's not like, whoo, favorable, but it's at least favorable. The next indicator, RT, is our technical indicator. This indicator, relative timing, tells me if the stock is in an uptrend or a downtrend. While it's currently above 1, Barrick Gold is in an uptrend. The higher above 1 it is, the faster in an uptrend it is, and the lower below 1 it is, the faster in a downtrend it is. And the next indicator is VST. That is our master indicator for ranking stocks. It combines relative value, relative safety, relative timing, and it shows you the stock's overall value, safety, and timing. At 1.35, it's above the value of 1. It's good. And a lot of people say, well, you know, I'm looking for if your company can show us beta stocks. Well, I'm looking at stocks compared to the market. Well, if you take our VVC, our VectorVest composite, that's what we use for timing the market. If you look at that indicator, you look at the VST on that indicator, now you'll get a basis of where that sits. So the VVC on the VVC's VST is at 0.94. Well, any stock that's got a VST above 0.94 is outpacing the market as we see it. So for everyone who always asks the question about beta, that's the closest that I can get for you right now. All right, and the stock's a buy recommendation. It's growing its earnings at a clip of 32%. Whew, I'm liking that. I like the long-term move. It's not altogether a bad stock from a safety perspective, and it's definitely moving up right now. Now, from another perspective of looking at gold, I'm going to put in the dollar, UUP. As the dollar falls, gold should rise because the falling dollar, gold presents itself as a safe haven against the falling dollar. So I'm going to highlight UUP, and I'm going to also highlight GOD. Let's go look at those two stocks.
Are you going to add HUI or no?
No, I wasn't going to do. I don't even have that on the list, do I?
No.
I decided not to do that. All right, so let's right click. Let's view the stock graph on these two. Here's Barrick Gold. All right, the move happened on Monday. Was it Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday? This was the move on Monday. Look at the gap up. So Warren Buffett gets in. Barrick Gold goes, whee! And then everybody said, no, man, we're not going to do that. No. And then the market goes down. And then today we got a little bit of a rebound. But I use moving averages on every stock in the database, when I look at them, is a 3 and an 8 exponential moving average. I love that it keeps you into stocks as it's moving, and it will get you out of the stock at the right time when it's falling. Well, look at this. Coming off of this little hammer formation on the candlesticks, the news came out on Monday. Even with the stock's pullback, the 3 still remained above the 8, keeping you in the stock, and currently still as well. RT started to pop as well. This gold play by Warren Buffett may not be a bad play at all. I like the play. I like the 3 and the 8. The stock still remains a buy. A couple of days of pullback, but you know something? Not enough to make a trend. As long as the 3 and the 8 or whatever moving average combination you like is moving, stay with the stock. What if? Should I get into it now? Well, as long as it goes higher than the prior day's high, then yes. Today it's not doing that. I do have a rebound, but I want some confirmation of move from at least the prior day before I jump on board. Let's go look at the dollar. As the market is rising or gold is rising, due to the dollar falling, this is a good indicator to let you know if it's okay to be in gold or not as well. Falling dollar usually means goodness for gold prices to rise, and look at that. All right, so that's my story on gold or precious metals. We didn't look at silver today. I didn't want to look at silver. That's enough as far as precious metals. That was big news for the gold space due to Warren Buffett picking up a big stake in Barrick Gold. Any questions, Joey?
Robert asks, where do you find target price?
The question is, where do I find target price? In the VectorVest software, it's all about being able to manage your trades. I don't have a target price. VectorVest does not give a target price. But if I have some semblance of a stop, like a gain-loss percentage, if a stock goes up 30%, maybe I get out like a 30-10. Stock goes up 30%, I take it. Why? Because I don't want to be greedy. And it's tough to put a target price on a stock because you never know how high it's going to go. So that's why we don't put out target prices. But maybe if you use a 10% trailing stop, you don't have to worry about target prices. Why? Because that trailing stop allows the runners to run. I always like that. You want to be a little greedy without being greedy? Think about using a trailing stop. Any other questions, Joey?
Yeah, got a couple here. What is your conclusion on the future of gold?
What is my conclusion on the future of gold? One thing I will never do is speculate about anything. I look at the now, and when I go back to that graph, the graph is what I'm looking for. I'll now put this on a 1-year graph. What I'm looking for is what's the graph done over the last year, where it's moved from the bottom left to the top right. All right, the graph is going to tell a story as long as you listen. How much volatility included in that? Well, I can see pull back, pull back, pull back. If I see this over the last year, what do you think is going to go on in the next year? I'm still going to possibly keep going up, but with these volatility periods. That's what I see. So I won't speculate on gold. I just won't. I just will say this, though. If we go into a recession, a deep recession, gold should move. All right. Other than that, that's as far as I'm going to go as speculating on gold. Any other questions, Joey?
That's it. The other one was the same thing. What might gold look like in the short term?
Yeah, I am not that guy to ask the question about what I think about anything. I use the power of the software to guide me. I will not speculate for you guys. That's just not, I don't think anybody who's worth their weight in salt should do that, because you got a 50% chance of being right and a 50% chance on being wrong. And the last thing I want to have happen is that you say, well, Glenn said, I'm not getting into that. I rather give you the useful information to help you to make the decisions. Why? Because everybody in this room invests differently. All right, let's go on to the next story. My next story is all about the Rona. I can't say that, can I? I can say that? About the Rona, about the coronavirus. All right, coronavirus is still big in the news. Well, it's going to be big into the news until eventually we get some semblance of a vaccine. My first story is on Sorrento. Sorrento files IND, investigational new drug, IND for COVID guard. Share slipped 9%. Interesting that the share slipped. They put in an application for a drug, a COVID guard STI 1419, for hospitalized COVID-19 patients today. So now that's phase 3. Phase 3, you start introducing the drug to live people. Hey, you want to get the needle? No? Yeah. I can't use the ouch, can I? Dang it. I want to use the ouch, but I can't. Anyway, all I say is Operation Warp Speed has put the drugs on such a fast track that I don't think anybody's ever seen, ever. All right, ever. These drugs are being fast tracked. So technically, Sorrento is in that phase 3, putting the vaccine, possible vaccine, into people live. COVID guard neutralizing and high potency antibody is engineered to eliminate interactions with host FC receptors. What is that, Joey? What's an FC receptor? All right. Thereby potentially decreasing the risk of antibody-dependent enhancement of SARS-CoV. Listen, it's got a thing that stops the other thing from becoming a thing so that you don't get the thing. That's pretty much what it said, right? Mm-hmm. All right. Why can't they just say that? Why I got to read the big words to say the same thing? All right. Animal data generated in Syrian golden hamsters. Why did they use Syrian golden? Why couldn't they use Jamaican golden hamsters? Why couldn't they use the American golden hamsters? Why it's got to be Syrian? Make you think a little bit, right? Things that make you go, All right, infected with SARS-CoV-2, justified the filing and continued clinical development. So that's big news on SRNE. This is a stock that our company's been looking at as well. My stock of choice, everybody knows, is mRNA. It's been a tough stock. I got a comment in the YouTube about someone still holding the stock. I gave some guidance on how to at least try to manage the stock as of right now. I still love that stock. I still feel that deep down in my heart, that's going to be one of the first companies that's going to come out with a vaccine. All right, that's my take on that. I'm sticking with that. Now, big news. You ready for this? Johnson & Johnson spent $6.5 billion to buy a company, MNTA, Momenta, is year's biggest pharma deal. Holy smokes. $6.5 billion to go and buy this stock. And you know what's going to happen? Hopefully the stock will take off like a jet plane. Here's the singing. I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. That's a big move for Johnson & Johnson. I'm thinking that as time goes along, we're going to see a lot of M&As on a lot of the smaller pharma companies being bought up by the bigger pharma companies to help the advancement of their technology or research on COVID-19. Mark my words. This is just one. And I'm thinking that there's a lot more in the works with Johnson & Johnson. Look at Pfizer. Look at Merck. A lot of these companies who are trying, and they're all the parent companies trying to get to the COVID, they're going to be looking at the research on a lot of these little companies, and they're going to start snatching them up. But $6.5 billion to buy Momenta, ticker symbol MNTA. Let's go take a look at them right now. All right, in here, there's MNTA. In my listing of stocks, sorted by our master indicator VST, look at where Momenta sat. Woo-wee.
Are you picking up what
I'm putting down? Now, you probably can't trade the stock right now because it got bought. All right, so the stock is pretty much going to stay stagnant. But it was Johnson & Johnson that bought them. So I'm going to spend more time on the Johnson & Johnson part than on MNTA. That's the company that got bought. All right, so Johnson & Johnson, let's analyze it. Price trading at 151. The value is 183. The stock is clearly undervalued. That's a company that's been around for a long time, but that was a big acquisition for them. Relative value, the stock's upside potential over the next 1-3 years compared to a AAA corporate bond is right now at 1.17. Above 1, the stock's got better upside potential than a AAA corporate bond. Relative safety, that indicator of risk, is at 1.29. This is a stock that consistently meets or exceeds its earnings expectation. The thing that catches my attention, RT is at 1.02. Well, it's above 1, so it's favorable, but it's not running gangbusters. I'm thinking that with the pickup of MNTA, that RT should start moving higher. Big company earnings growth rate is at 2%. And they got a lot of drugs and stuff in the pipeline. Drugs is not the only thing that Johnson & Johnson does. Don't think about it. They do baby powder, they do lotion, they do so much stuff. They do so much. So I can understand why the earnings growth rate is only at 2% with their hands in a lot of things. So when I go to look at the graph, let's go concentrate on Johnson & Johnson specifically. Let's view that stock graph. I think with the MNTA pickup acquisition, look at the stock's price starting to move higher. Nice, good open day today. Look at that RT. RT is starting to pick up now, going from below 1 to above 1. This might be a good pickup. All right, with the big news behind it. But what do you look at? What's going on in the market? Don't get blindsided by just the news. All right, don't get caught like a deer in headlights and be like, woo, that stock's moving, let's go buy it. Slow your roll. Slow your roll. What's the most important thing? Make sure the market's moving up. If the market's getting tired, I like this as a pickup. But make sure you're buying into it as a rising market. Does everybody in the room understand that? I want a yes or a no in the room. This should flood the room. I need a yes or a no in the room. That is the beautiful thing about doing Trending Thursdays. I can see that a stock news, it looks great, boom, it's running, but market timing is important. Do I see yeses popping up in the room? Mm-hmm. Excellent. That's important. That is important. All right, with that, I'm going to close out. Do we have any questions about my coronavirus look today? I don't have nearly as many yeses as I think I should have with all of the people that are in the room. Joey, please ask Glenn, should I sell my, scroll that down, 10,000 of GILD? All right, listen, Courtney, I've got something called Stock Market Confessions. I would love to use that as a confession. Can you put the link in there for them? Joey's going to put a link in there for you, Courtney. I'd like to use that, and I will answer your question then. How about that? All right, how about that? Mark says, it looks good, but, oh, no, ain't no but. Listen, make sure the market is moving in your direction before you pull the trigger. That's all I got to say. All right, so I see, again, with all of the people in the room, I should have had a lot more yeses. I'm not going to push the point. I just want to make sure that you guys do understand that. I like the trade, but I need to make sure that the market is moving in my direction before I pull the trigger. That's all I got to say about that. All right, so Courtney, please fill out that link that Joey put in the room. And anybody who's got a stock market confession, you want to confess about a trade, do me a favor, click on that link for me. I need more support for that if we're going to get that to go forward. You guys, I need you guys to fill out some confessions for me, all right? But Courtney, I would love to use that as a stock market confession, and then I will answer your question. All right, let's get to the next story. Oh, all right, so the next story is my stocks of interests, and I did something a little special this week, okay? Every week we do have our, I find stocks that catch my attention. Those are my stocks of interest. You can find some great trades in there or stocks to stay away from in there as well. This week, I'm going to do a little bit of a speculative fix on it because a lot of people have been saying in the room, man, you need to be looking at Bitcoin. Oh, man, you need to be looking at marijuana stocks, so left and right and up and down. This week, I've taken some of what you've been asking me about, but I'm going to put a VectorVest spin on it. I'm going to help you to find the better speculative trades to look at. All right, so one of the things that has been coming to my attention over and over and over, you guys never look at Bitcoin. You guys never look at cryptocurrency. All right, so I found a story about cryptocurrency this week. The Fed discusses research plans on digital currencies. That's big. And what they were using was the Invesco Dollar Index, but on the bearish side, the UDN. Remember, I just looked at the UUP for gold, so this is going to be a very interesting thing. Fed Governor Lael Brainard gave some updates yesterday on the Fed's ongoing experimentation, key words there, experimentation with the central bank digital currencies. I don't know how many of you knew that was going on, but it's a story. So the central bank, if the central bank is looking at digital currencies, that's kind of interesting. We've been conducting in-house experiments for the last few years. All right, the last few years on this through the means that include the board's technology lab, which has been building and testing a range of distributed ledger platforms to understand their potential, opportunity, and risk. All right, so that was a story that I'm going to take a look at in a second. That's one speculative industry to look at. Next one. How many of you have been in this stock, GRWG? Growth generation soars to new highs. Post-earnings, interest stays elevated. So, if any of you follow us on YouTube and you looked at our hot stock panel last week, was it last Monday? Was it last Monday? I think it was. It was last Monday? It was 2 Mondays ago. Steve Chappell picked this stock as one of his picks. And man, did that stock go ballistic. That stock really did take off like an airplane. I don't know how many of you have been in it or not been in it, but man, that stock just keeps rocking and rolling. But it's in a speculative industry, marijuana stocks. We're going to take a look at that. And one more on oil. I continually talk about oil, but oil still is speculative right now because demand is not there. But yet and still, I see stocks go up and say, man, you missed the move on that oil play, blah, blah, blah. That's what it is. Blah, blah, blah. It's still a speculative field. So I've got 3 speculative industries, and I'm going to show you how to do something so that you can make your own individualized watch list on any industry. So let's do this first, and then I'm going to come to the rest of my stocks of interest. But this is a little special just because I like you a little bit. All right, let's go back into the software. All right, and I'm going to do something here. Let's start off with the crypto stocks. I created a new folder for this week called YouTube Trending Thursday Test. Anytime we do any kind of testing, I'm going to use this folder for my watch list. I'm going to create a new watch list. So I have the list, the group highlighted. And let's start off with the cryptocurrencies. All right, I'm going to call this crypto. I'm going to call this live, not lice, live crypto. Man, why do you put all this stuff in front of me, Joey? I can't type on the keyboard. Live crypto. All right, so I've created a watch list. How do I put the stocks that are just in the crypto industry into this watch list? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. Joey, did anybody ask that question? Mm-hmm. They did. All right, Joey's not paying me any attention. So I'm going to go down to our industry viewer, And when you go to the industry viewer is going to show that we have 221 industries in the VectorVest software. This is mainly for my new people who are not subscribers to the software. I'm showing off a little bit of the power behind the software. At any point in time, folks, when I open up the industry viewer, I can see what the fastest moving industry is. We have an RT ranking. All of these industries are sorted by relative timing. All right, so now those people who are on podcast, just to break it down, my top 5 industries as of right now are building residential commercial, building wood products. Number 3 is retail home furnishings. Number 4 is ETF sectors, consumer discretionary. And number 5 is ETF specialty environment. Those are the top 5 industries out of the 221 industries we have in the software right now. But we're looking for a specific industry, all right? Now, keep in mind, we've got 221 industries. I want you to keep that in mind. I'm going to sort the industries by industry to bring them up alphabetically. The first industry will be, I'm sorting alphabetically from Z to A, VectorVest Composites at the bottom. Where would I find my cryptos? It would be under financial. All right, financial crypto stocks. So we've got an industry called financial crypto stocks. Remember I told you we tracked 221 industries? What industry is this industry? 213. Does that not tell you that this is a speculative industry? So you may tell me that, hey, these stocks are moving. You need to take a look at them. The industry is speculative. So you may find a stock within the industry moving. How comfortable are you trying to hold that stock? As a speculative trade, it is a really short-term trade. Now, you're going to tell me a stock is moving and you're going to take it? Well, I'm all for that if you're that kind of investor. So I'm going to right-click on that industry. I'm going to use the right-click functionality to go view the stocks in that industry group. How many stocks we got in there? Well, let's go find out. We've got 11 stocks in that industry, and here they are. I'm going to highlight them all. I'm going to right-click now, and I'm going to build my own watch list. Now, it's all here, but I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to right-click. I'm going to add them to a watch list. What was the last watch list I have? Well, I went to the YouTube Trending Thursday test. I'm going to highlight that industry or that watch list that I created. It's going to take all of these stocks and put them in. Boom, it's done. Here's my watch list that I just created. Here's my watch list that I just created with all 11 stocks. Now, why do I need to do that when I already had the industry laid out? Well, how about this? Maybe you don't want the stocks to trade less than $1. So I can highlight those and take them out of the list. But holy smokes, there's only 2 stocks in that industry that trade more than $1. Well, I might as well leave them all in there. That's another reason why you know that this industry is speculative. Well, let's do something else. Let's at least make sure that the stocks that are in here have an average volume of at least 100,000 shares. All right, so I sorted by average volume. Well, there's 4 stocks out of the 11 that don't have an average volume of 100,000 shares. That's probably a good way to start. Let's highlight them. Let's right-click. Let's delete them. All right, so now I'm still in stocks that are less than $1, but at least every stock that I've got left in my watch list that I created actually trades higher than 100,000 shares. Folks, now this is a more usable watch list within the crypto field. Now, let's talk about what stocks would I like to hold? Well, let's go sort this by relative value. Yeah, none of the stocks in here have a relative value above 1. So that's another reason why I know it's speculative. None of these have good upside potential. Well, let's go see which ones are the safest. Well, I got no stock with a relative safety above 1. That's another reason why I know it's a speculative. Well, now let's concentrate on the stocks that are going up the fastest by sorting by RT, and there you go. So yes, I've now created a watch list that I like in a specific industry that's usable to me. At least I know all of these stocks are trading at least 100,000 shares. All right. The stock that's moving up the most by way of relative timing is blockchain, Riot. Well, let's go take a look at that graph. Let's view the stock graph. Do I like it? Ooh-wee. Holy smoke. What's the stock look like right now coming off the high? Yep. Let's see if the stock can break through that level of resistance that I just drew, that trend line. You know something, if I want to be speculative on the trade, let's see if it can break above that before I pull the trigger. Number one, if I'm in it, how about the stock pull back to 3 and the 8 are holding? The 3 and the 8 are holding. I also like that the stock is coming up off that level of a hammer. What's that now forming? That is now forming something called a wedge. All right, it's a candlestick pattern of consolidation. Look at that. I can make now, what am I really looking for? Let's see which way the stock is going to break before I pull the trigger. How about that? So you want me to look at crypto stocks? This is a good way to find out what the better crypto stocks are before I pull the trigger. All right, I did that once. Let's do one more. How much time is it? I'm going to do one more industry that I can show you how to tailor make specifically to you, even though I know it's a speculative industry. Let's go back to the industry viewer. What other industry do you think is speculative? How about marijuana? We saw that GRWG, right? So let's go find that one. How would I find that? Well, I know that would be under healthcare, right? Healthcare, marijuana. Look at that. What industry is it out of 221? 216. Man, this is why when everybody wants to tell me about you got to go buy these stocks because they're hot. It's a speculative industry, and unless you are a speculative trader, I wouldn't tell you to go buy into these stocks. Because as quickly as they can go up, as a speculative trader, as quickly as they can go down and smack you harder than your mama did when you was a little boy or a little girl. I'm just telling you that. That's all. I'm keeping it real. Just keep that in mind. 216th industry out of 221. How comfortable you are really investing in those stocks. These are strictly trades. But that's neither here or there. Let's build your own personalized industry watch list of marijuana stocks. All right? Let's right-click. Let's view the stocks in that industry group. Let's see how many stocks we have in marijuana. A lot of stocks. 203 stocks. Woo! That's a lot of stocks right there. All right, I'm going to move this down to all. It's probably going to take off my real-time feed. That's fine for the time being. I'm looking at all 203 stocks in that industry. So let's do this. Highlight the top one. Let's scroll all the way down. Hold my shift key. Take the last one. All 203 stocks are now highlighted. Notice I got a lot of sell stocks in here, right? Let's right-click. Let's add to a watch list. Now, this time I didn't create a watch list in this group yet, did I? Oh, well, that's all right. Right here, I can create a new watch list. Now, let's call this weed. Let's just call it weed. Right, Joey? Yeah, Joey, you got that look on your face. It's weed. Yeah. Uh-huh. All right, so we're going to click on add, and now it's going to create that watch list right on the fly. All 203 stocks are going to go into that watch list. Click on OK. Boom. Now I've created my own watch list of weed stocks. All right, but wait a minute. Do you want to take all of the stocks that are less than $1? No, you don't. All right, or maybe you do, so you leave them in. But most people in here probably don't want to take the stocks that are less than $1. So first thing I'm going to do is sort the list by price. Okay, let's get the lowest dollar stock to the top of the list. All right, the lowest dollar stock to the top of the list out of the 203. Whew, there's a lot of cheap stocks in here. So I'm going to highlight all of the stocks that are less than $1. Let's go put this on all again. Let's go highlight. I overdid it. I highlight all of the stocks, scroll down. There's a lot of stocks in here that are less than $1. Now, for those of you who like penny stocks, maybe you take out all of the stocks that are higher than $2 or $3. Just do the reverse. There's nothing wrong with that, but still you're still building a watch list in that industry group that fits you. If you're looking for the low dollar, just do the reverse. Take all of the stocks that are higher than $2 or $3 out. All right, so I'm going to take all of the stocks, highlight all of the stocks that are lower than $1. All right, because there's the first stock that's higher than $1. Right click, delete it. I'm going to move from 203 stocks down to 34 stocks. How about that? All right, down to 34 stocks. That's huge. All right, so now I'm still using this industry, but I'm making this industry watch list germane to how I invest. Next thing I want to do, let's go back to that average volume again. So now I know all my stocks are greater than $1, but now I want to make sure that they're all over 100,000 shares traded. So I find the first stock that's under 100,000 shares traded, average volume, highlight those, take them out, delete them. So now in this industry of marijuana stocks, I'm down to 27 stocks. Folks, how cool is that? Type in the room, did any of you find that useful? And you can do that for any industry. I don't care what industry it is. Make that industry watch list germane to you. That is the power of the VectorVest software to help you make decisions on any industry you want. For everybody is out there. For everybody that's out there that is not a VectorVest subscriber, this is some of the power that you can expose yourself to even if you took the 99-cent trial. You brought this over for a reason.
Yeah, just a bunch of random comments.
Nobody found it interesting? What? Wow. All right.
No, it's saying this is, for some reason, this isn't updating.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
So maybe my chat didn't update. That makes me sad. Huh?
Mine is, though.
Did they find it useful? That's all I want to know.
Very useful, absolutely, yes, love it. I've done that many times, it's pretty cool.
All right. That's mainly, again, for the people who are not subscribers to show you some of the power that you can use in building up your own watch list. And the last industry that I had was the oil, and I'm not going to go through the building that one as well, but that's, if you go look, that's one of the industries that's still low on the scale of 221. Folks, anytime you go to look to get into any stock, always check the industry. Always check the industry. That's important. All right, there's that. So now, let's go back to my other stocks of interest. That was just a little power showing of the VectorVest software. All right. Let me go here first. Here's my other stocks of interest. But three speculative industries we just talked about today as well. All right. Big story. Apple becomes the first U.S. company to reach $2 trillion. I'm loving that. Everybody in here knows that if you ask Glenn Tompkins, the best stock in the world, Glenn Tompkins is always going to say Apple. Always going to say Apple. But congratulations to Apple to being the first U.S. company to surpass $2 trillion market cap. That's huge. That's huge. All right, so thank you for that. My next story, I don't have to read much more into the story except for that. How about my do-it-yourself companies? Home Depot, Q2 2020 was a massive success. Why? I talked about that. Everybody's doing the honey-do list. How many people are doing the honey-do list? Everybody's doing the honey-do list. Everybody going, hey, my wife ain't doing the honey-do list because I'm not handy with my hands. I'm a brain guy. I'm all about the market. You want me to go build something? I ain't building it. That's what you hire people for. That's just me. So places like Home Depot, big move because a lot of people were doing a lot of projects while they were on home. Walmart, 6% after e-commerce surge leads to earnings smasher. Everybody and their mama buying from Walmart, whether it's Walmart, whether it's Amazon, whether it's online or in stores. They're making money. But this is mainly because of e-commerce. Walmart is up primarily because of e-commerce. And my last one is Target. After sizzling sales growth too, reports comparable sales skyrocket 24% in Q2. Man. And that's all I can say. It's just, man, I got to give them applause because they're all making money and they're making money big time. So let's talk about, do you want any of those stocks? Let's go back to my watch list for today, 8/20/20. Let's go take a look at those. All right, Apple's in there, the number one stock by VST in the list. Let's go look at Home Depot, Target, Walmart. Those were mine. Yep, those were them. All right, let's right-click, view the stock graph. Whew. This is my stock pick of the week anyway. Apple, I love, look at that. They hit $2 trillion, the stock is still running, and guess what? In September, they're going to split, right? It's trading at $471. It's going to split, giving people, what is it, 4 to 1? Is it going to go down a quarter? Yeah. It's going to give more people the ability to buy into an outstanding stock. There's nothing more. Apple is going to be a good play long term. This is a stock that I would have in my retirement portfolio. Next one, Home Depot. I like it moving up, but watch RT. When I look at Apple, I look at the stock rising. It got a dip here, but look at RT. For those people who are on podcasts, it's pretty much over the last 3 months going pretty even. With the blip that happened back in July, but even with the big July dip in RT, look at the move in the stock. It was not a big move. Smooth graph over the last 3 months. Home Depot, on the other hand, beat earnings, which was great, but watch relative timing trending lower as the stock's price is moving higher. Just keep that. Oh, it's August 24th. Thank you, Kay. I thought it was September, but it's August 20th. Man, that's 4 more days. Apple's going to split. Man, if you're not in it, or for those of you who really want to get into it, I would really consider getting into it. But still, make sure the market's moving up before you pull the trigger. Target. I like Target as well. I like Target a little bit more than I like Home Depot. Home Depot is a good-looking equity curve. I watch relative timing, whereas I look at Target. Target's relative timing is moving up. Down day to day, that's fine. One day is not a trend. The 3 and the 8 are moving up. I like it. All right. And last, Walmart, even though it beat earnings, this is the stock that I like the least out of my stocks of interest. Pulling back down, the 3 and the 8, most recently with today's activity, just pulled negative. RT is still above 1, but pulling down. Walmart is the only stock out of those that my stocks of interest that we just looked at that I like the least. If I'm looking at this going around, Apple would be my number one pick, whereas Apple would be number 1, followed by Target, followed by Home Depot, and last but not least would be Walmart. All right, so those are my stocks of interest. Anybody got any questions, Joey? Mm-hmm. All right, so with that, here we go. With that, Joey's going to do a couple of things in the background. We're going to get into our next stock market confession. All right, and Joey's got a link in there, folks. Joey's got a link in there. I want you to click on the link if you feel compelled to want to share a trade that you've done. Whether good or bad, Joey's got a link to fill out the form to submit your confession. Courtney, if you're still here, I do want to see your trade on a confession. I would really like to see your trade on a confession. So just keep that in mind. But please fill out that link, because if we don't get the support for it, I will not be able to go forward with it. Without confessions, it can't work. All right? Without confessions, it can't work. All right? So I just want to put that out there. And with that, my next confession this week is going to be the penny stock confession. All right? Now, I forgot. We're going to do it, though. We're still working our way through that. Thank you. We're still working our way through that. 8/24 is the day of record for Apple for the split. 8/24, it'll never split. Who said that, Smack This? What? Are you serious? It's going to split. It's going to split. All right. So here's this week's confession. The current situation is the customer or the person bought 500 shares of ARTH 3 years ago and went all in. Woo! All right. That's huge right there. Now holding 3,000 shares at 74 cents. All right. Why I thought it was a good trade. I thought penny stocks were the way to go to make easy money. Gotta always be careful about that. As quickly as you think a stock can go up is as quickly as a stock can go down. Just keep that in there. He typed 834. Who typed that? I know. Don't worry about that. Leave it alone. Stop worrying about that. Listen to the confession. My confession. I'm still holding these shares even though the stock has dropped from just under $1 to 19 cents. For the person that sent me this confession, we have his name, don't we, Joey? We do. I have it. I have it. We're going to send you a mug. That's going to be another enticement for you guys to send me a confession. If I read your confession, I'm going to send you a mug. All right, free mug.
Be entered to win a mug.
They're going to be entered to. I just want to send them a mug. Fine. Joey says I can't just send you a mug. You're going to be entered to win a mug. Sigh. He's such a. I don't like you.
It wasn't my idea. That's what they said to me.
You know what happens when I don't like you?
If you show up to the meeting, you would know that.
Really? Oh, if I show up to the meeting, that I'm doing another webcast prior to that meeting?
Sorry.
Oh, whatever.
It's not my fault.
All right, listen. Sit there before we fight. All right.
Get beat up.
No, I ain't getting beat up. So let's talk about the whatever. Why are you flapping your jibs? You're just going off with the jibs. Let's talk about the trade. All right. Big thing that I don't like. I went all in. I can't write on that. All right. I went all in. Don't matter what kind of trade you pull the trigger on, folks, always be careful about that going all in. And, as a way of making easy money, the people who invest in lower dollar penny stocks, just understand that they are trades. They may look enticing, but for the most part, as a speculative trade, it's like a home run hitter. Reggie Jackson hit a whole lot of home runs. What else did he do? He struck out a lot. I want you to pay attention to penny stocks in that same analogy. There may be a time where you hit a home run and you look like a genius, but most times you will strike out. So just be careful on that, and always be careful about going all in. Now, my friend told me it was a winner. Okay. That's what we call water cooler talk. Before you do anything with what someone told you at the water cooler, this is why you need to have the power of VectorVest. Put that stock into a graph. Put that stock and analyze it with the VectorVest software before. I don't care who it is. I don't care if your mama told you, go buy that stock. Put that stock into the VectorVest software to check it out first. All right. Now, the thing is, I'm still holding these shares even though the stock dropped to just under $1 to 19 cents. All right. Take that away, Joey. Can I just close it or minimize it?
Yeah.
All right. So that was the confession. Let's go check the stock out. I'm going to add it to my watch list for today. ARTH. He had it for about 3 years. Okay. He had it for about 3 years. And let's go take a look at it. Right click, view the stock graph. Let's go out I'll go 5 years. But he had it for about 3 years. So 2017, let's go find about January or so. That's May. It doesn't matter. This is the stock. Couple of things. Even though the stock was a lower dollar stock, what's a good way to help you to get out of any stock? Type it in the room. What's the best way, not a good way, what's the best way to help you to get out of any stock? Something should be coming up. Tell me what the first thing you see. Nothing?
Courtney said she filled out her confession.
Oh, thank you, Courtney. All right, there you go. That's what I like. Courtney filled out the confession. Huh?
You want to do it today or no?
No, I don't want to do it today. I don't want to do it today. I got to prepare for it. I want to make sure I say all the right things. All right. So, since nobody answered, stop. There it is. That's the biggest thing is stop. So even if you got into the stock, the 3 and the 8, whatever moving averages you use would have given you an opportunity to get out. And if you still wanted to be aggressive on it, give you back in, get you back out, I think you would have stood a better chance on trying to trade it than trying to hold it. All right. If I go, let me move this over for a second and just analyze the stock. Where's the stock trading at $17, value of 17 cents, value of 2, way overvalued. Does it have good upside potential? Relative value tells me no at 0.14. It's below 1. Relative safety, is it a safe stock? Heck no. As well, not all lower dollar stocks are are not safe stocks, but most of them are not. It's got a relative safety of 0.61. Is it in an uptrend? No, 0.62 on RT. The stock's got negative earnings, growing at a negative earnings percentage, negative earnings growth percentage. And even if I looked at this 3 years ago, I think a lot of the same characteristics would have been present then. So, couple of things. Be careful about ever going all in on a stock, number one. Number two, be careful who you listen to. Number three, no matter who you listen to, do your homework on the stock before you pull the trigger. Number four, always have stops in place. Always have stops in place, because that's going to always allow you to never let your losers get away. And number five, even if you're speculative, use all these other steps, number 1 through 4, to manage even your speculative trades. And always have realistic expectations. He anticipated what I thought it was an easy way to make money. That's not realistic expectation in investing in the stock market. All right? So from that perspective, let's use that. I will absolve you of that confession, because you're going to learn some things today. I'm not going to make you hold on to that confession. I'm going to take that away from you. You're going to learn that, one, it's not always easy. Don't always take the easy way out. Sometimes it looks too good to be true. If that's the case, it probably is. Don't always put all your money into a trade, ever, ever. I don't care how good it is. All right, and do your homework and analyze the trades. Any questions in regards to our confession for today, Joey?
Just some comments.
Go ahead.
VectorVest is the best investment I made since I retired. Set your exit plan price before you buy. $500 worth of stock. If speculating, the most you can lose is $500.
I like that. If you spend only $500 on a speculative trade, the most you can lose is $500. Be careful with that all-in mentality. Anything else?
No.
All right. So let me let you know. If you like the stock market confessions, let us know about that, number one. Number two, I need confessions. If you don't send me those confessions. Joey gave you a link. If you click on it and you don't fill it out now, click on the link. It'll take you to the website. Keep it. Save that website. If nothing else, it'll save that website and fill it out later. But I want your confessions. And even if it's a good trade, send that in as a confession. All right? We're developing a character. I'm really close to releasing who that character is. But I like these, and hopefully from the comments that I've seen, you like them as well. We're going to keep them going. But you have to, in order for me to support it, you have to support it. I need the confessions. Without those, I can't have this segment. And if we get enough support behind this segment, it's going to have its own day of confessions. It's going to have its own YouTube day of confessions. All right. With that, am I done, Joey?
I think so.
All right.
Ricardo says, I think the hardest part for most people is having an exit strategy.
All right. And you know something, that we'll talk about that. But in the question or the statement was the hardest thing about trading or having this is your exit strategy. That's why having a trading plan is important. I don't care if it's a speculative trade or a longer-term investment. You still have to have a trading plan. Even on those speculative trades, you still have a trading plan. You need to know when to buy, what to buy, when to sell. Well, you've got a stock that you're thinking about, that's your what to buy. Well, let's talk about when to buy. Is the market moving in your direction? And if it is, you have that speculative trade you want to take on, I'm not telling you not to do it. But your when to sell is going to be important, because that speculative trade, as much as it can make you money, is as quickly as you can lose you money. And that's where having your stops in place. Now, guess what? If I'm in a speculative trade that can jump a lot, I need to be able to give it some room to the downside. So instead of using a 10% trail, I might have to use a 30% trail. If you can't do that, then that's not a trade for you. Understand that. Because as quickly as that stock can go up is as quickly as it can go down. If you can't sit through the stock's price going down, that's not a trade for you. You need to sit down and internalize that. Because it looks good, but if you can't sit through what it takes to make the money on that trade, then that ain't so good. All right? Any other questions, Joey?
Smack This asked, the market is now slightly up for the day, but
Right.
RT and BSR and MTI have all fallen. Do you buy Apple today?
Question is, the market's slightly up today. Let's go take a look at that. The market's slightly up today because I can look at real-time data. Market's slightly up today, but our other indicators are down. You know something? From a market timing perspective, what's up today? The market's not slightly up. The VectorVest composite's still down. But if you're looking at the S&P or you're looking at, I'm going to flex my muscle again. I'm going to show you how, thank you, Joey. I'm going to show you how to put all of these indicators on the graph at the same time. There's the market timing graph. That's the VVC. Let's go put up the spiders. All right, let's go put up the NASDAQ. Let's go put up the Dow. Whoo, you didn't know you could do that? Look at that. This is for my new people. This is for my new people who are not subscribers to the software. You want some power? I'm going to show you some power because that's a good question. Well, I'm looking at the market. I'm seeing the market was slightly up. The VectorVest composite is not up, but I see that the Qs are slightly up. I see the Qs are nicely up today. See that? Let's go do my fill mode too. Notice, look at that. The Qs are up. The spiders are up. The Dow is slightly flat, but the composite's down. So let me tell you something. If I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable about trying to track the market, why not look at the move of over 8,300 stocks compared to 500 stocks here on the spiders, 4,300 stocks very tech heavy here in the Qs, 30 stocks on the Dow. So who asked me that question? Do you remember? Whoever it was, you asked me, do I buy Apple now? Smack this. Listen, this is what I'm really paying attention to because this gives me overall broad market move. Going back to the home page right now. Oh, he has it at the bottom. If you go back to that home page right now, where's my home page, Joey? Did I lose it? I probably did. If I go back to my home page right now, the VectorVest composite is slightly down. I'm not ready to pull the trigger yet. I got an indicator that looks at 8,300 stocks. Not ready to pull the trigger yet. Not only that, I got the primary wave. The week-over-week movement of the VectorVest composite is down. So, yeah, I'm not buying Apple right now. I love the trade. I want to make sure that the market is moving in tandem with my thinking. Smack this. Does that make sense to you? All right? That's the power of using the VectorVest software as opposed to just looking at the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm not ready to pull the trigger on Apple right now. And guess what? I got a lot of yellow lights in the color guard. I need to be cautious. Not until that primary wave goes back up to show me that the market is moving higher over week-over-week basis. Okay. Any other questions?
No, we gotta go.
Joey's kicking me off. All right. Well, with that, folks, thank you for showing up today. I appreciate you supporting the channel. My new people who haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do that. How many likes did we get so far?
124.
Well, we wanted about 250. We didn't get it. It's all right. It's all right. New people who are not subscribers, please subscribe to the channel. This is the kind of content that I try to provide for you every week. All right, and I'm not the only person here on YouTube. Support the YouTube channel in general. We got a lot of great content, not just Trending Thursday. So with that, folks, adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha, shalom, salam, and namaste. Peace. We're out of here.